In the middle of the 20th century, when the United States of America was flooded with migrants from Europe, the economy and population began to grow. However, in the state of Alabama, in the quiet town of Birmingham, an inexplicable panic began to spread. Bodies of townspeople were found in the streets, completely exsanguinated, with strange wounds on their necks. No one could understand what shadow loomed over their community. Birmingham was the kind of town where everyone knew their neighbor, where news spread very quickly. However, no one could explain how these tragic events were possible. Families closed doors and windows, whispering to each other stories of dark figures seen in the night. At the center of this mysterious story was a strange man named Victor Lazar. He told everyone that he had come from Europe to study the local flora and fauna. Victor had settled on the outskirts of town in an abandoned mansion that the locals had long avoided. He was tall, with pale skin, as if he had never seen the sun. His eyes were dark and stared straight into the soul of any man who dared to speak to him. Victor Lazar rarely went out during the day, but he was often seen wandering the streets at night, as if he were looking for something or someone. The first rumors about Lazar began to spread when he appeared in town. His past was shrouded in mystery. Who is he? Where did he come from? Why did he settle in this abandoned place? All questions remained unanswered. When they began to find exsanguinated bodies, suspicion fell on him. One of the first to openly accuse Victor was Hunter James Hollister. He claimed that he saw Victor late at night leaving towards the woods, and the next day they found another victim. However, no one dared to go to the mansion to deal with the mysterious neighbor. People were afraid and avoided the place. Every night, the fear in the town increased. People lit candles and prayed. Children hid under blankets, and mothers cradled them in their arms. Victor seemed to enjoy this chaos. He continued his nightly walks, oblivious to the whispers behind him. One day, after a particularly dark night, when 3 people went missing at once, Victor disappeared. No one saw or heard him leave. The house was empty, as if it had never been inhabited. People said he simply vanished into the night. A group of townspeople, armed with torches and guns, went to an abandoned mansion. They expected to find evidence of its involvement in the terrible events. Instead, they found only empty rooms. The only oddity was the basement, where symbols were engraved on the walls that no one could decipher. On one of the shelves in the basement was a leather-bound book written in an unknown language. In the meantime, the terrible events had stopped, and the people of the city gradually returned to their normal lives, trying to forget about what had happened. 10 years passed. After hearing about the mysterious book, a young scholar named Thomas Carter, who was studying ancient languages, came to Birmingham. He began to work on deciphering it, and what he learned made his blood run cold in his veins. The book was the diary of Victor Lazar. In it he described his long life, which began in Europe. In 1725, his transformation into a vampire, and his move to the United States of America. The most frightening was the last sentence in the book. I will return when the stars align, and once again remind this world that darkness is eternal. After reading these words several times, Thomas Carter realized that he had made a big mistake. That same night, a young girl disappeared, and in the morning she was found bleeding to death on the edge of the woods. After that, the whole city of Birmingham was once again in fear, and realized that it was Victor's return